Hello and welcome again to TelecomTV. My name is Martin Warwick and I'm talking with Peter Margaris, who is Head of Service Provider Product Marketing at F5. Peter, welcome. Thanks for talking to us. We'll come on to the company F5 in a moment or two, but first of all I'd like to begin by asking you, as a vendor of network functions virtualization equipment, what's your overview of NFV? Do you regard it as being an opportunity, a threat, or a mixture of the two?
I think it's an opportunity because right now service providers are looking for ways to commercialize NFV architectures. They've been testing them for a couple of years, and now they're finally starting to see some of the benefits that NFV architectures give them in terms of moving into new business models and being able to generate new revenue from some new business models that NFV has to offer. And vendors like F5 have an opportunity to help service providers bridge the gap from existing architectures to these architectures of the future. So it's quite an opportunity, actually.
Okay, well, given that, what's your strategy for moving forward to being a network functions virtualization equipment vendor? How fast are you seeing the market moving, for example, from being reliant on the purely physical devices of today and yesterday, and moving to full virtualized networks and virtualized functions?
I think there's a dependency on physical hardware in certain points of the network, and I think there always will be, depending upon performance, depending upon what type of network functions you're talking about. But in general, I think that there is a quick movement towards augmenting existing networks and trying to leverage NFV architectures as much as possible. So there's going to be a combination of both physical and virtual networks that will continue to evolve here over time, and service providers are going to take advantage of the benefits of NFV where they can, and especially if they can do so in a risk-averse manner, they're going to, and I think that's what's happening.
Well, you mentioned the fact there's always going to be some physical element in the network. Of course there is, but presently the majority of networks are still physical, they're real, they're not virtual, and we're in this intervening period almost, because we're going to get new and real NFV deployments in the next few months, certainly in 2015 anyway, but there's going to be this period, maybe a decade, maybe longer, when both the virtual network and the physical network will have to coexist side by side, one on top of the other. Do you have any sort of strategy for that intermediate period, or do you think it's simply a matter of evolution?
Well, absolutely. I think that vendors like F5, we talk a lot about hybrid architectures and the evolution of hybrid network architectures in context with NFV. And I think that is key because there are portions of the network where service providers will not be able to just flash over to a virtual environment, and they will have to migrate over time. So the ability to have flexible architectures in place that can give them the ability to continue to scale in their existing environments as they scale their virtual environments is important.
Okay. Now let's talk about F5, because I want to move on to the sort of strategies beyond that in a moment. So how old is the company and what do you do?
F5 is a company that's been well established in the industry, providing various layer 4 through 7 services to both enterprises and service providers. Yeah. So we provide application delivery control services, load balancing, DNS services, security services. We have firewall services from layer 4 through 7, and many different application layer services that service providers and enterprise customers have leveraged over the years. So we have software application services on our purpose-built appliances, on our chassis platforms that we've been providing, and every one of our software application services is also able to be virtualized. So we have virtual instances, virtual editions, if you will, of every one of our application services, which gives customers the ability as well to deploy these hybrid architectures, to deploy NFV very easily, in addition to migrating their existing network architectures that they have in place.
So Peter, given what you've just been saying and looking at the stack, those layer 4 through 7 sections you're talking about, How do you see NFV affecting your particular area of speciality in there? What implications does it have for service providers?
Well, I think that for service providers, they're selectively trying to understand where they're going to get the benefits, and I think that's part of what's been happening in the past couple of years with the POCs and the testing. And they're also trying to understand the business models that they want to pursue. So both of those two things are happening. There's certainly OpEx and CapEx considerations, but more important, there's new services that they're pursuing that they otherwise couldn't with their pre-NFV type architectures. So for a vendor like F5, we're helping them make that transition. We're looking forward to actually working with more customers and continuing to work with customers and our partners in these ecosystems that are evolving to help service providers realize the actual monetary benefits that they're going to gain.
Okay, now one of the trends we've been observing over the past few years with network transformation and all IP networks and so on is the partnerships and collaborations which have grown up as a result of that. And companies that hitherto were not necessarily at daggers drawn but didn't really have a great deal to do with each other are now collaborating together. Why did you decide to work with Alcatel-Lucent and Cloudband?
Well, the entire NFV evolution is very much ecosystem driven, and if you look at what service providers are trying to accomplish, they're really trying to accomplish an agnostic, a vendor agnostic ecosystem. So for F5, it's important for us to work with what a service provider is trying to do and trying to accomplish. And having a healthy ecosystem in place is critical for successful commercialization of these networks. And for F5, working with a strong ecosystem partner like Cloudband is essential for us.
Okay, thank you. Now, presumably this relationship with Alcatel-Lucent will continue and presumably strengthen. Can you tell us what you've achieved so far by partnering with Alcatel-Lucent? What's the overall experience been like? What do they like to work with?
We've had a very positive experience, and of course it's always customer driven, and I think both companies are seeking to satisfy the same customers that we're both serving, and working together we are able to better fit our solutions in place and put real use cases in a commercial environment for those end customers. And we've done that. We've worked on some POCs in the field, and we've integrated our solutions together. And at the end of the day, the customer is really driving the initiatives, and the customer's benefiting, and we all are that are participating in that ecosystem.
Given that, and the fact that we've seen the hype cycle dwindling and reality of NFV very quickly coming to the fore, the fact that proofs of concept are well underway and proofs of concept have been made. There are trials out there and we're expecting real life deployments almost immediately, certainly within the next few months. What's next for you? What are the next steps as far as you and Alcatel-Lucent and Cloudband are concerned?
Well, for us, it's a matter of continuing to work with customers and continuing to understand where customers want to go with these networks and what types of problems they're looking to solve, what types of business models they're looking to implement. And it's still very much evolving. I think that customers themselves are still learning what they want to pursue, and they're still trying to figure out what the most profitable business models they want to pursue and how NFV can help them get there. And for us and for Alcatel-Lucent and Cloudband working together, we have to be cognizant of what the customer's end goals are in terms of realization. And I think it's a continual process that will evolve, and will continue to build upon what we've already learned and continue to learn in terms of what we need to deliver.
Okay. Peter Margaris, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.